All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Out of the Box. We are so glad to be back here with you guys, and we are a podcast/videocast here in Oklahoma City to bring people in from all types of different industries, being able to show how people have just come from where they were to where they are now, people that are able to see a different way of thinking, an opportunity for people to be able to see what other people are going through, because it helps us realize we're not going through it alone. So I just want to say thank you so much to my friend that I'm going to introduce you to. I got to meet Jeremy because of the cannabis industry. I was in that industry for about a year, and one of the best things that ever happened was getting to meet Jeremy, as well as Toki Daniels, which you guys have met Sam and Toki a couple weeks ago. So I just want to say thank you so much, Jeremy, for being here, and your beautiful fiance. Just congratulations on getting ready to get married. So, without further ado, I want to introduce to you my friend, Jeremy Dedmon.
Roger, thank you, man. I'm excited to be on here.
One of the main reasons why I wanted to have Jeremy come on is because we got to know each other because of his story and dealing with his mother and her becoming somebody that so many family members have with the pharmaceutical, just drug after drug after drug, encountering this and doing that. And hey, we hope this is going to help. And it's just so nice that there is a way to help and serve people healthy-wise to get them off the pharmaceuticals. My best friend that was in here, he was on Ritalin whenever he was a kid and on a lot of different opioids. Mm-hmm. And, he got to a point of being addicted to meth. And it's just the next progression. And it's so important that we get... my wife and I, we're very naturalist. Like, we eat as much fresh... Like, we got an amazing garden. And I'm thankful that she loves to do that, but as natural as possibly can be. And I love that Oklahoma has done 788 and able to bring in a natural option to serve people for health reasons. So.
Absolutely, man. It's really been a way out of so many negative walks of life for a lot of people. You look at what my mother went through with her prescribed addictions. And all the way to what I went through, which is similar to, what you were just saying about your friend. I make no secret about it. I was addicted to meth for several years, among other substances. And I don't think I could have broken the cycle without cannabis to help me.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. It's close to my heart for several reasons. To have something natural grow out of the ground that just so happens to work in harmony with our bodies, that can, align us with ourselves spiritually and make us better friends, better neighbors, pull us away from more harmful substances. It truly, regardless of what you believe, it's here for a reason. Whether your view is naturalistic and you believe that the earth works in harmony, or you have more of a religious view, you believe that God put it on earth for us to consume. I don't think anyone can argue with the fact that it does good for humanity. I know people who will argue with it, but not very effectively.
Actually, I had this conversation about alcohol. Like, Jesus' first miracle was water to wine. Mm-hmm. And people complained that they brought out the good wine at the end of the party.
Jesus wine is a good wine.
That's a good wine. They complained about it. Like, if you read, it was in my devotional the other day. So I was like,
Alcohol is an interesting topic.
True. Altogether.
Yeah. It's good for some, bad for others.
Fact.
Good for fellowship sometimes. Really bad for your personal life sometimes. Things
in moderation.
Things are good in moderation, and you have to know yourself really well to be able to dabble in something that can potentially take over your personality, like alcohol or any other substance.
Yeah, we all have our addictions.
Yeah,
and sometimes it's not substance. Sometimes it's not alcohol. Sometimes it's a lot of
Netflix. It's McDonald's.
Have you watched Social Dilemma?
Oh my gosh, I have. Yeah. That's a crazy documentary. I love that so much of the media that's out there now is geared more towards opening people's eyes and getting your gears spinning. It's not just mindless content anymore like it was predominantly a decade ago.
Yeah, like what was they had those stupid games on Facebook, like the farm
Farmville.
Yeah, like all those things. Like, man, I actually totally forgot about that till just now. Like, man, I spent a lot of money.
Never got into Farmville.
Well, I mean, we all got our poison, right?
Yeah, right.
So, with the addiction of, just going back to the addiction of that, I took 90 days off of social media, and I chose to stay off of it for another 14 days just because it wasn't really convenient.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wanted to do my first show with one of my dear friends, and he spends a lot of time on social media, a lot of time on Facebook, and because of the content that he sees with the chaos in this world right now, he chose, after not being registered to vote ever, to register to vote on the show.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I thought that meant a ton, and so there's going to be this really, just touching on politics like Quito, is that it's amazing that people that have never thought to vote are registering to vote because they see chaos and nuts and just crazy.
Registering to vote is not the only way to be a part of the solution to the chaos. I mean,
true.
Reaching out olive branches to people who think differently than you is one of the most productive things you can do right now. Instead of jumping on there to disagree with them, jump on there and validate their opinion. Say, I see why, I see why you would believe that way.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree, but I can definitely see how that's a valid opinion.
Yeah.
That then opens them up to be more receptive to your opinion.
Right. Well, and, I tell people a story. I will discuss anything with you, whether it's politics, whether it's cannabis, good, bad, ugly, alcohol, like whatever. And we talk religion, we talk whatever you want. But here's the deal. My dad and his best friend were polar opposites. Like, one was on the North Pole, one was on the South Pole, politically. Like Rush Limbaugh and like Raging Cajun, like polar opposites. And they met every single week at Coit's on 24th and Western on South Side.
I miss that place.
They got a food truck.
Coit's does?
Coit's does.
Where's it at?
I do. Look it up.
Oh, I'm going to have to.
Yeah, so they still show up because they were at an event that I went to a couple weeks ago. So the root beer is still alive, people. By the way, for those of you that don't know, Coit's is an amazing place that was around for like 30 years. That had homemade root beer and ice cream root beer floats. Delicious. Anyway, but they met there for about 10 years. My dad had an attitude. Like he's been passed away now for a long time, but they can meet. And they never got kicked out because they were very respectful of one another. They weren't going to change each other's minds.
Yeah.
But they met and they cussed and discussed.
Well, look, I know people on both sides, I'm neither polar opposite, but I know people who are completely polarized that are great people and terrible people.
Yep.
And they exist on both sides in pretty similar numbers.
Yep.
And so I don't think that your political leanings is any indication of how good a person you are or how decent a human you can be.
I agree. I'll discuss anything with you, but we just know that it has to come from a place of respect.
That's the problem, though. People like to conflate like liberal or you're a conservative with you're a bad person or you don't care about others or you just want free stuff or, they like to conflate that with your value as a human instead of talking about it as a potential solution to our problems in America.
Right.
Which is really all politics should be.
Yeah. So, getting back on topic, we'll go with that. So, tell us a little bit about where you, like, kind of how you grew up. How have you come from where you are to where, you're a business owner now and, running a successful industry. In the industry, you're very successful what you do, very influential. And I also have to say I love Jeremy because my aunt was dealing with some stuff with cancer again, and Jeremy put up to help her get her card for getting cannabis. So I really appreciate that. That means the world to me, and that your heart is that giving. So I just want to say thank you again.
Well, you said that I am successful in the industry. And we have our financial ups and downs, and a lot of people determine success on a financial level. But what you just said, being able to help people like your aunt, is how I determine my success within this industry. And I've been extremely successful by those metrics.
Absolutely.
I've got testimonials from all kinds of people that we've been able to help. And that's my only measure of success at this point. I know that, we have to take care of our own house financially to be able to continue to help people. But that's my only measure of success. And I'm just so grateful to have been around for the last year and a half, 2 years, being able to do what I've been doing. It's been the privilege of my life. People come and thank me for the things that I do, and I just feel ridiculous because I'm overjoyed and overfilled with gratitude to be able to be here and to give to the people that need it. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, and that's, brother, that is the thing that, how do you spend your time, your talent, and your treasure? And notice the treasure is the last one.
Mm-hmm.
How you spend your time. Spend your time investing in people and spending time sitting and talking for hours and hours and hours. I know. I don't even have to be in your shop to know, but I know that you spend time with people.
Mm-hmm.
You hear their story. You take the time to listen. You know, and your talents or your skills and your abilities that you have with chemistry, with your knowledge, with the science that you do for the industry and serving and loving people. And then your treasure is just the last part. That's the survival. We all do it for money because that's what makes the world go round. But that's the last thing that people should ever be measured on.
Right. Well, you can't pour from an empty cup. And if I've got to worry about paying my bills, which I do have to worry about paying my bills, but if that's an overwhelming concern every month, it leaves very little room for me to, really get creative with helping others. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying that you can't help others if that's your financial situation, because time comes first. Mm-hmm. Talents come second. Treasure comes third. But if all you're focused on is how am I going to make it to next week, it's more difficult.
Been there.
Yeah.
Lots.
Yep, I'm there about every other month.
Yeah. No, you're right in that. It took me 10 years mm-hmm. to get where I'm able to do it. Mm-hmm. And it's just once you find your stride. And I was talking to a good friend of mine. He'll be on here soon, but we talked about reparations and how it's a topic that he and I are gonna hit, and it's about network. People make it to be successful in this world because of network.
Absolutely.
And relationship. Because if the billionaire goes broke, they have their other billionaire friends or their other multi-million-dollar friends to help mm-hmm. them pull out. And then we think, man, I just need $1,200.
Yeah.
But that's fine. But that's our network. And mm-hmm. one day you're going to be to a point where that's going to be a drop in the bucket because you're on a path, you're on a mission, and it takes time.
Yeah.
And there's still so many things changing constantly in the industry still.
If I can just continue to have an impact in the areas that I can touch and the circles that I'm in, it's not just what I do with equipment or with product that I'm very proud of. What I've been able to do with people and to assemble my team that works at Paragon, and even the vendors that we work with, and the kind of environment that has been orchestrated for me is amazing because I'm surrounded by such good-hearted people who really are on the same mission as me. Mm-hmm. And every now and then somebody's faking it, but for the most part, everybody around me is just so focused on helping others that they don't have time to look up and do anything deceitful. They don't have time to get into drama.
The fakers don't last long.
No, they don't. They're in and out.
They're in and out. That's one thing I did learn about the cannabis industry. That's extremely, I can't even say cliquish at all. I can say from my perspective, but it's just the good people are there and they know that they can call the people they need. Mm-hmm. And they're willing to help.
The industry can almost seem like a high school lunchroom at times, and it gets kind of annoying how some people are more concerned with social beef than they are with their mission at hand.
We're not in high school anymore, people.
And I just think that's a lack of vision. I honestly, I hate to be that cut and dry about it, but it's a lack of vision and a lack of heart. It's the only thing that allows you to get that distracted by what other people are saying and doing. When you've got such an important mission right there in front of you, like helping people who are dying.
Yeah.
And you're still worried about what Jimmy said about you on Twitter last week.
Take a break from social media, people.
Yeah.
Just take a break for a minute and think about how happy you are.
Well, it's so ingrained in our lives, in our businesses. It would impact my profitability to take a break from social media, or that's what I tell myself. I mean, I don't know how true it is.
I closed the biggest deals in my life
while you were on your hiatus.
While I was off.
Yeah.
And I tell you why. Because I called people. I talked to people in person, even during COVID, like we were doing a social distancing thing. Social media doesn't make you social. It doesn't give you a relationship. It doesn't give you impact.
I'm going to have to try it. I'm gonna have to take some time off.
Take a week.
Hold me to that.
And every single day. So actually, there's a process before you do it. Okay, so this is the process. I want you to get on your iPhone. If you got an iPhone, right?
No.
Okay, Android.
No.
Okay, sorry. I have both. I got both. So, but there's an app. Okay, so there's an app out there that will tell you how long you're on social media, how long you're on YouTube, how long this, that, and the other. There's a part of you. He's shaking his head. Did you see him?
I don't want to look.
You have to see how much time you're spending. So I realized I was on there about 2 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was pretty mild. But the reason why I even started to think about it is because my mentor has an employee that shows up 3 minutes late every day. 3 minutes late, 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year is 15.8 hours. It's almost 2 full working days. That's 3 minutes.
3 minutes a day amounts to what could be 2 paid
full days.
Paid days, yeah.
So I took that to heart and I took it in a separate way. I'm like, you know what? How much time am I spending on social media? Really? I still read a lot. I don't count YouTube. Like I'm a give me education. Give me education. I read the news. I read the news. I watch YouTube videos because I want to know what's going on. But I also do a lot of educational stuff. I'm a context person. I love it. Mm-hmm. So I don't count YouTube and education as being social media. I'm talking about Twitter, YouTube, or Facebook and Instagram, Snapchat, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So pay attention for 1 month. So you got a month. 1 month. Pay attention to how much time you're on every day. Screenshot it.
Scary. It's a scary thought. I know I'm on it way too much.
And dude, and everybody is. Like you said, whenever we're talking about addiction.
Yeah. No, it's seriously a chemical
Netflix
addiction.
too, people. Netflix too.
Yeah. Man, Netflix is almost there on like productive content. You can find some good stuff on Netflix that nourishes your mind.
True.
YouTube is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, audiobooks. There's so many ways to occupy your brain space.
Yes. I'm really weird whenever it comes to books. I got Overdrive, so it's free audiobooks and books.
Really?
It's through the Metropolitan Library system. So I had 4 books downloaded whenever I went to Montana and back.
Yeah. How long is the drive out to Montana?
With a trailer and 3 kids in the back seat.
Oh, jeez.
About 3 days.
Wow.
I also don't drive very well. Like I hate driving, but I drove about 8 hours a day. But we stopped whenever I got in between a quarter and a half a tank, we pulled over to get gas because we were going through the wastelands of America. Mm-hmm. So, but it took us, so if it was a regular 6-hour drive, it took me probably 8.5 to 9 hours a day. So we stopped so we could enjoy the pool. And my wife's like, hey, we got to have a 3-star hotel and a hot tub inside. So that was a deal.
Yeah. Gotta make it worth it.
Got to. So, but, back to the social media thing, and recapturing your time is amazing. So I recaptured 208 hours.
Over how long?
104
days. Yeah. 208 hours over 104 days. 100 days is not that long, man.
It's not. And you start to not miss it.
Yeah.
But I told myself, I'm not going to be able to get my business. I'm not going to be able to find deals. People aren't going to reach out to me. I still had Messenger because that's like texting and stuff.
Right.
But I reached out to people directly and said, hey, what? I would love to meet you for coffee. I'd love to meet you for, just let's actually get together and talk or just have some fellowship, because that's how you build your network. And people are very appreciative if you pay attention to them on their birthday and call them.
Yeah, you can. It's so much more impactful than writing on their Facebook wall, like,
nobody cares.
Happy birthday, along with 170.
Click a book.
Just click, boop. For a good stretch there, I was making it a point to every day spend a intentional 5-minute conversation with someone. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it would turn into 45 minutes, but just call someone that I don't talk to, not for business, not for work, not for anything out of necessity, but just to say, hey, was thinking about you. I want you to know that I want you to have a great day. I hope everything's going good with you. And
it trips them out, doesn't it?
It trips them out, and you get these like really authentic conversations because it's spur of the moment, and you're breaking out of the box of like, how you doing? That normal BS that the
fake question, how's it work?
Yeah. Yeah. you break straight out of that when you call someone out of the blue, because they're just like, wow, this is, man, it's good to hear from you. And you just start talking to each other about your lives and the connections that I made with people that I had lost connection with over that, what was it, 3 or 4 months that I was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
It's phenomenal. I need to get back after it.
I challenge you, man.
Yeah.
Do it. I mean, it gets to be, so the month of October, I decided that I will message every single person individually on their birthday on Facebook.
Oh,
and
cool.
If I have their phone number, I will call them.
I've gotten a couple morning messages from you. What are you doing there?
Okay, so the morning messages are just a daily encouragement. So yeah. I've been reading through this devotional. It's a men's devotional called Move, and it's pretty in my face thing. It's written by a pastor, and it's just, I know that leaders are lonely, not because we don't have people around us, but because a lot of the times we cannot share with our team, or we don't have peers that understand peers more understand what we're going through, but a lot of men and a lot of women don't allow themselves to be vulnerable. I will be honest with anybody about what I'm doing, what I'm going through, not in a bad way, but in an authentic way. I'm not going to just spill my guts of my problems, because nobody wants to hear that.
No.
But hey, what's going on with you really? How is your, now relationship to get married? How is your family life? How is your, how's your mom? How's life in general? How's your spiritual world? How's your relationships? How's your business? How's your financial? Deeper questions, because nobody cares to hear, oh, I'm doing great. It's like, really?
Yeah, you're just
really
trying to end the conversation at that point, or trying to run through the conversation to get back on your way.
Yeah.
And it's really insincere way to talk to people.
Yeah, it is. And I'm telling you, that's the best thing coming away from the social media. Because I even think I called you on your birthday.
Yeah, you did.
And there's this young kid, I had him in here, his name's Anthony, and I was the only other person that called him besides his grandmother.
Yeah, you were one of 2 or 3 people that called me on my birthday.
See?
I mean, it's not a very, and I remember it. It's not a very usual thing, and it's so easy. It's so easy to do.
Just to call and say hi.
People are scared to talk on the phone.
That's not FOMO. That's the fear of missing out. What is the one for
FOMO?
FOMO? But FOMO is the fear of missing out. But so I'm gonna call you out to help hold him accountable, because that's why we need great women in our lives. So
I tell you what, that's a true statement. Whenever I spend even days without her, I can tell a change in myself to where I'm just not the same person. I'm not the same quality person that I am.
Yeah.
Whenever I got daily interaction with her.
Say thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, baby.
oh yeah. Don't I don't know. I already kind of gave her a big head just now. So.
Aw, man, I wish I had a camera. Hold on. So thank you for loading on this, man. I appreciate that. Just as his friend. Tell me something about you that you don't mind sharing that nobody else probably really knows about you as a person.
I struggle with extremes in a lot of different regards, and I don't know that I've ever acknowledged this out loud, but I struggle with I have to be a workaholic or an alcoholic or a devout churchgoer or a bum, or I have to be all in on something, and I struggle.
All or nothing.
Yeah, I struggle because I'll go all in on something for 6 months and need to find something else, and
I feel that
it's my attention starts drifting and looking for what's my next thing to go all in on. What's my next business? Start get this one going kind of all right, and then I'm like, man, I really want to do this, and keeping my focus is really hard for me, and having moderation is really tough for me in a lot of areas.
I got you. Have you ever read The One Thing by Gary Keller?
No, I don't think so.
So Keller Williams, the I think it's the largest corporate brokerage in the world. But he wrote a book called The One Thing, and it talks about that a lot. It talks about getting vertical. So I've always had that problem, and I was in construction, I was in the cannabis industry, I was in the insurance business, I was, whatever, right? Whatever I needed to do to hustle and make some money.
Right.
Because I was always in survival mode. But once I chose real estate, that's it. So everything needs to be vertical. It needs to be the trunk. I don't care about the tree limbs.
Mm-hmm.
The leaves can do all that stuff, but I'm staying in the trunk. So with you, you're in the cannabis industry. You're in the processing, part of it. Vertical. Shiny objects are very shiny and pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Writing
but
a book
they're out
called,
there on the limb.
They're out there on the limb. Stop Chasing Rabbits is a book that I'm writing, and it's about stuff like we struggle with, and just with what you're saying, with extremes. And we get bored. It's like, oh, let's go. Sweet.
I almost started a butcher shop.
A butcher shop?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey,
I mean, just to give people an idea of how wild my mind will take me off track. I was calling around. I wanted to get a cow and get, half a cow processed. I was calling around. They were booked out until like 2022. And I'm like, start looking at like butcher saws and tables and stuff like that. And I'm like, what am I doing? I don't even have this cannabis thing all the way figured out. Like, this is going to distract me from what I'm trying to do, and I'm always on to the next thing. It's part of that survival instinct of, this thing's failing, I got to jump to the next ship, and this one's not going so good, I got to jump over here. But whenever I actually have something that's sustainable right here in my hands, I still have that impulse to like look around for another life raft or another, something to cling on to. It's
we all do it, man.
Yeah,
we all do it, and I'm going to tell you it's okay.
Good.
To have the thought.
To have the thought is okay,
because we're dreamers, and that's what allows us to have creativity. But sometimes we dip our toe. But
yeah,
that kind of feels nice. it's kind of warm water in the pool, because of the heater. But to always come back to thinking, if I was going to take this time away from what I'm doing with what I'm focusing, I have time. And I'm going to go to a friend of mine that she works in the real estate world with me, and she was a teacher. And teachers don't make a lot, but they have consistency. Even whenever you're not at work, if you choose to be paid over 12 months instead of the 8.5 months that you're working, you get paid every month.
Right.
Whenever you're in starvation mode as an entrepreneur, we get sidetracked. Oh, if I just go get a job. It's like, but you're talking about 40 hours a week. You're talking about 40 hours a week at $10 an hour.
Drawing resources away from my business that's already hurting.
Yeah.
Like drawing your resources, some of the most important
and
resources.
Your time.
Yeah.
Your talent.
Yeah.
To go get a little bit of treasure.
Yeah.
So, I shared with her that, what, if you're able to just stick this out, like if you need up front, because we have contracts that are getting ready to close, like if you need a bump just to survive, because you're going to go to work for somebody, okay, then you're going to wait 2 weeks, you're going to do training, you're going to talk about like a month, 3 weeks to a month before you even get a paycheck. And you're going to take 120 hours away from what we do.
And then you're going to spend a couple of years of your life doing that, and then decide that you really want to do what you were doing all along.
Right. It's like you quit that. You took that leap. And as entrepreneurs and stopping chasing that. So what Stop Chasing the Rabbit has to do with stop chasing the rabbit that stops, that gets away, because you get tired. But if you have a rabbit to chase and you're going to chase it all the way to the hole and you're going to jump in that hole and you're going to dig it out after him, you're going to go get a backhoe and take it. That's different. Stop chasing things that you shouldn't chase that don't line up with the trunk.
Yeah. I know people who spent, enough time in school to have their doctorate twice over, and they are just getting out with a degree. It's just because they bounced around, and it, that's completely understandable. But it's like you at some point you have to find what it is that you want to do. We only have so much time here on Earth. You have to find what it is you want to do and say, okay, if I have to restart on this one specific path, if I have to restart on this path 50 times, I'm going to get to the end of this one. And I think that's important, because you can restart on 7 different paths and you never get any further on any of them.
Right.
But if you're restarting on your one path that you're trying to go down, you never start at the same place. You start from experience.
Yep.
And you start further ahead, at least in terms of your experience.
Absolutely. And gaining that experience, gaining that knowledge, I think you should always have something. Did you ever do construction work and stuff like that? Like have some basic skills of anything?
I've been doing construction for the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
It's airport season. So my parents have a general contracting firm.
Okay.
And they do FAA projects, and this is like go time for airports.
Right.
And so I've actually not been at Paragon for the last couple weeks.
Okay.
I came in from Mangum Scotfield Airport about an hour before I got here.
Oh, nice. Where's Mangum?
It's way out west.
Way west. Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. In Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Okay. Right on. So I can appreciate that because, my dad, the best wisdom that my dad gave me, I think, was get a trade so that you can always survive.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And I did it back and forth, and it sounds like that's exactly what you're doing.
Oh, yeah. I know at the end of the day, I can always seal asphalt, regardless, no matter what happens. If I got to work for someone or if I can figure out a way to do it myself. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be able to feed myself because
That's right.
I know how to do that.
That's right. And I'm going to give you an amazing bit of advice that I want you to listen to.
All ears, brother.
Because whenever so how old are you?
30.
30. Okay, so I got married when I was 23. I struggled very much with what you're talking about, with the extremes. Okay. And after I got married, it was okay. Because in a financial sense, my wife was working at a hospital. I was working in construction, single, living in an apartment, no problem. And then we got pregnant with our first child. And I'm a little bit old school. I wanted to have my wife stay at home to take care of our children. Because I dated a lot of girls that worked at daycares and this, that, and the other, and I got to see Johnny's first step or their first crawl or this or that or the other, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said to myself, I am not going to allow myself pleasure of getting to see that every single time. If I can't see it, my wife will see it, period.
It's not going to be It's
not going to be a stranger.
Yeah.
Nothing in this world is more important than my wife being able to see that and myself being able to see that. So call it old-fashioned, call it whatever. But Megan agreed to that. That was a condition on us getting married. Do not become more of a workaholic. Have a financial goal. What is good for us to survive? For me nowadays, like if we make 60 grand, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to say no to more money. But if I can get to 60 grand and then start to put back some more money, man, that's great. Because I'm not going to sacrifice my family like I did for years. My wife didn't deserve what I put her through. My children did not deserve what I put them through to go chase a dream. Because enough was never enough.
What does the dream serve? I mean,
nothing if I lose everything that matters.
Yeah. If your family's sitting there, what does the dream serve? I know a lot of people who, make a martyr of themselves for the sake of their family, and they're really just workaholics, and they're really just chasing their dream and chasing their financial ambitions.
Mm-hmm.
And I am grateful that I wasn't. I don't seem to have the proclivity. I can set aside time for just us, and we don't even have kids, so I don't think I'm going to have an issue with that. But it's a hard thing whenever you have something that you really want and you can justify it by saying you're doing this for your family. A lot of teachers, they want to be a teacher because they want to be seen as the teacher, and that I've never got that vibe from you. You're always super authentic. You always just want to help because you know something. You learned it the hard way. You don't want someone else to.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
So, it shows, man.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And it's not something that I try to portray necessarily. It's just genuinely being me.
Right.
Because I've learned from other people what not to do. Like I have gotten some shortcuts in life. Like, hey, I'm not going to do that. So. Everybody has a purpose in life, and sometimes that is to be an example of what not to be or do.
Yeah, I was always the kid that if you said that's hot, I had to touch it and see how hot.
How hot is it?
Yeah. And that kind of
do I have fingerprints anymore?
That bled over into my adult life, unfortunately. But
well, man, hey, is there anything else that you want to share?
Just my gratitude, man. Just my sincere gratitude for you having me on. I always love a chance to talk to you in general anyway. I love the platform that you're making and your mission with this show. happy to have been a part of it, man.
Yeah, man, I'm so thankful and blessed that you're here, and thank you for bringing your fiance to get to see, because it's pretty cool to get to see, these kind of things happen.
Well, let's go get Panera soon.
Absolutely. And tell us again real quick, name of your company.
Paragon Extracts. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Paragon Extracts. We're out of Tuttle, Oklahoma. We serve growers and dispensaries and other processors alike. If you're in the cannabis industry and you're struggling with anything, we're here to help. Just reach out to me. You can find us on Facebook. We've got a website, www.paragonextractsok.com, and or you can look us up on Google and give us a call at the office.
Yeah. Well, we'll make sure to put your links and your Facebook and all that stuff up there. So whenever we get this out there, we'll make sure people can get a hold of you.
Cool.
So, brother, thank you so much for being here. Man, it means the world to me that you're here, and we just got to have some fellowship and some time. And man, I just really appreciate you for you being you.
I appreciate you, Roger.
Thanks, man.